Good morning, fellow travelers. Well, I've never made coffee like this before, but in theory it should work. I forgot my main thing at home. Coffee mug, coffee grounds, boiling water. Might turn out more like espresso. Outside of it just being really slow though, it does work. Quotes about patience. Oh, this is a fitting one here. Rivers know this. There is no hurry. We shall get there someday. Tastes like coffee. Oh guys, we got in late last night. We're kind of at this weird part of spring where we had this massive snowstorm rip through the Midwest, and it's kind of all melting now. You can still see some of the bigger snowbanks and stuff, but big stretch of cold. I mean, 30 inches, 2 feet of snow pretty much everywhere across the Northland, and it really slowed a lot of things down. Wasn't really sure where to go this week, so yesterday we hooked up to the XL, loaded the back of the truck with the camping stuff, which is something I'm excited about this year, and we're ready to rock. In the boat. Gonna be a beautiful day. A little chilly out this morning, but beautiful thing about Wisconsin in the upper Midwest is there are so many rivers you can catch a fish in. And just in Wisconsin alone, you got the Mississippi, the different pools. You got the Wisconsin River, you got the Wolf River, you got the Oconto, the Peshtigo, all the Great Lakes tributaries. Just a lot of opportunity this time of year. So this river is way higher than I thought it would be. Clearly all this snow melt, which there's no snow on the ground now, and I know they got 30 inches of snow here last week, has brought this river up. It's probably about 3, 4, 5 feet high up in the trees, which I personally like, because it kind of seems to put those fish in some very particular locations, kind of bottled up. So we'll see if that's the case, but we're gonna run around and try to find them. Have a beautiful day in the little boat, banging some river walleyes hopefully. So that's the plan. By the way, it's still early. We got 35-degree water temps, so this is by no means like peak spring walleye run at all, right? But we'll find something. Gonna be a beautiful day today. Some of these little smaller rivers just don't seem to get nearly the pressure, so it's always weird when you're filming around a ton of people, so I try to either not fish spots where there's a lot of people or just go places on Mondays or Tuesdays where there's less people. And obviously stay away from like the dams or the main community spots is always a good bet. But a lot of times when you're staying away from the main community spots, you might be dealing with less fish per spot, and you might have to run around a little bit more. This river is way up in the bank, so I'm sure we've had massive influx of current over the last probably 24, 48, 36 hours, whatever. And that obviously pushes fish out of that main flow. They're not going to sit in flow that's just screaming, right? So in some senses, it kind of makes it easier. A lot of times when you have a big flow like this, it also kind of starts that bigger surge of fish pushing up. So we're just going to go ahead and look at some of these spots. Like this is, as far as the bottom composition, I like this. This is real sandy here. I got some waypoints here from a previous year. And if we can find some of this like riffling sand out of that, I'm already seeing some fish here. I kind of like this already. Actually, I really like this already. Gotta get the Minn Kota down. All we got here is just a little, there's probably like one spot up here that's probably like where everybody's gonna fish. It's a really sexy, visually appealing spot. But then down from it, several hundred yards, it's kind of just like a little nothing looking spot. But when the water gets high like this, it creates a current break and actually pushes the current break way back behind where that main spot is. That's where we're gonna set up here. We're not even gonna put the live down, but we are gonna address it because I know we're gonna get asked questions on this. What in the world is going on here? Well, I wanted to be able to film. Obviously, we have one Garmin and one Humminbird in here. Now I have both of them tied to their forward-facing transducer. I can run both of them in forward, both of them in perspective, all at the same time. I kind of did a slight modification on the Bruce City pole. I basically put two of these end knobs on so that I can run both two transducers at the same time. Now, is this way overkill? Way overkill. But the main reason I wanted to do this is so that I can film stuff for Walleye Now with both at the same time. Which we're going to do today at some point here for the app. But that is the one reason. Obviously, love my birds. Been fishing Humminbirds for years. When it came time to put graphs on my big boat this year, you know what I did? Put all Humminbirds on. But for a lot of the Walleye Now users and for a lot of comparison stuff, this channel, yeah, we could tote the line and say, blah, 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 buy the new this, buy the new that. But more important to me is like, hey, here's what I like about this. Here's what I like about this. You guys make a decision, right? But before we even need that fancy schmancy forward-facing stuff, which is just cheating anyways, what do you guys think? This is a 3.3 inch. This is, you guys saw me fish these in the minnow last week or the week before down in Arkansas. This is the Kalen's hammered paddle series. Very soft, flexible. Has a ton of movement at slow speeds. This is the 3.3 inch, kind of the smallest swim bait they make. But for a lot of these little river walleyes, this is going to be just a tasty little treat. They might be a little slow this morning. Cold night. Either there's some ornery little guys, or not walleyes, but I'm pretty confident they're walleyes. Yep. First bite of the day, baby! First bite of the day! I knew they just had to go, man. We knew they had to be walleyes. Feels like a nice fish. Feels like a nice fish. Where you at, buddy? Where you at? Oh yeah, quality fish to get the day going. This river's now one we're probably going to see a 29 incher today. But for beating kind of this weird week of weather, we'll take every single bite we can get. Beautiful walleye right there. Come here, buddy. On that swim bait too. That 3.3 inch, if you're fishing a lot of these little rivers, that size, especially like early in the morning when these fish can be a little weird, tough to beat. So kind of that little bit smaller 3 inch, 3 1/4 inch, even sometimes that 2.8 inch size I've seen be really good. The other thing it lets you do is fish a little bit lighter jig head. When you start fishing like those 4.5 inch plastics, they have a ton more drag in the water. And you have to go up in jig head size. So I'm fishing quarter, kind of seems about right for the current in which we're in right now. And slow is the key. And it always takes you like a little while when you get onto one of these river systems to kind of like remind yourself how slow you get to go and just kind of get a feel for it. I mean, you just want that thing almost just barely not touching bottom, or you're just kind of flirting with not being able to touch. That's that right drifty size that just kind of is paddling back there, wiggling around in the current. If every time you pop that bait forward you feel that boonk when the bait bounces back to the bottom, you're too heavy and you're fishing. It's not drifty enough for this real cold water. Based on what I'm seeing on the graph, when these fish start to go, it's gonna be good. Probably this afternoon sometime. I think we're just fishing through a lot of fish right now. I may throw on a jig and a minnow just to see. I did actually throw the jig and minnow around a little bit and did not get bit at all. So maybe we'll just keep chucking the swim bait. On, baby! We are on! slowly but surely they're warming up. Slowly but surely. We got them skating. I've got a really good feeling like where we are is going to be really good. It's just not quite there yet. One thing I tried, I'm just moving like 10 feet this way, 5 feet this way, 15 feet that way. I kind of got an idea of right where these fish are. And a lot of times it's just, especially the more fickle they are, it's just swinging your bait through that zone like the right way. And just kind of letting that current kind of keep that bait right where those fish are. And it's amazing in rivers sometimes how much like moving your boat 10, 15 feet this way or that way can make a huge difference, because it totally changes how the current will sweep that bait through the zone. No, it's not a big one, but they're starting to pop maybe a little bit. Right there, baby. That's feeling good. That's feeling pretty good. They might be starting to fire a little bit for us. That one was on the jig in a minute. I'm just kind of going back and forth here. Keeping them honest, It doesn't really seem to matter. It just seems like you kind of sit on them, you sit on them. One kind of decides to go. Come on, bud. Look how lazy this fish is coming in. He's cold. He's cold. Come here, buddy. It's a nice walleye, though. And overall, we're not seeing like dinks yet. Sometimes you get in these rivers early and like that first wave of fish is just all, 12 inches. We're not seeing any of those. It's a nice walleye right there on the old show jig. And a fathead. I actually stopped at a gas station to get minnows, and normally you get just shitty minnows at these gas stations, but these ones are some glorious fatheads. Look how cold he is. He doesn't even want to wake up. Wake up. Terrible picture fish. Nice little 17-incher though. We'll let you go, buddy. It's still a little chilly on the fingers, but it's gonna warm up today at some point. When this sun pops, dude, they're gonna fire this afternoon. I mean, you guys can see on my side imaging here, I'm almost just constantly looking at fish. I want to show you guys something too, because I know we're gonna get questions on it. This right here. What is this reel? As you guys know, basically since my first YouTube video, I've been using the same reel. That is the Pissy Fun Carbon X 1 or 2, version 1 or 2, in a size 2000 or a 3000. I have, if this was a truck, I got 1,000,000 miles on it at this point. And the reels are priced like super affordable. A lot of them in that $50 to $60, $70 range, right? And they just came out with possibly, this is my first trip with them, fished for them for a few days now, with the Carbon X3. A little different kind of coloring to it. Now, you guys know, a lot of you guys probably have the version 1 or 2. These reels, like I said, super affordable, number one. This is by far the lightest one. When I picked up the box after I got a few, I was like, is there reels in these boxes? Unbelievably light. I'll link them down below. Maybe some of you guys are like me, where it's time to upgrade a few reels. This reel is insanely light, and it's kind of perfect for a lot of these. I mean, you can put it on any rod, obviously, but these 2000 size, they're just feather light. And I'm pairing that with the Elliott. This is a 7-foot light fast action rod, and this is one line which I've really started to like: a Suffix revolve and an 8-pound. This whole setup is just like unbelievably light and literally perfect for this exact thing, where you're pitching these light jigs in a little bit of current and just trying to keep everything super light, because when that bait comes down, I mean, it's just like you can barely feel it touch bottom. For fishing one of these spring rivers in high water, where we actually ended up finding fish right now, is a super predictable and common pattern. Now, you have kind of two options if you're fishing a lot of this kind of stuff. It's a lot of times a big shoreline current break, obviously. These fish don't just want to sit in that heavy current running right down the center of the river when you get high water like this. So either a lot of times it might be some little point, a big wing dam, something big right on the shoreline, where you can see that big visual current break, you know, that classic spot like that, where you get fish bumping into that big shoreline obstruction to get out of that little bit heavier current. The other one is the kind of spot that we're fishing right now, which is a little bit sneakier kind of a deal. And if you look at this spot here, the current's coming from this direction, right? So you can see the current's going to be real heavy running this deeper channel-y side, right? So a lot of times what you're going to see is you might get a big shelf that comes off one side like this. And you could see like right here is probably the changeover where you have a lot of current coming right down through that bottleneck. It bounces off this corner and it runs down this steeper side of the river. Now, the fish a lot of times are going to set up somewhere right here where these waypoints are. This is a big sand flat, and this is the downstream off side of that current that comes through. And you can imagine this current's coming through. It's wrapping here real hard and running out down the middle of the river, and it's bouncing off the lead edge of this point up here. All I'm doing is just kind of moving up and down this couple 100-yard area here. I kind of want to show you guys. So we're out in like the really fast current right now, and there's just really nothing here to look at as far as fish go. Rock out there, but nothing really popping as far as fish go. Now what I'm going to do is kind of pop out of this main flow a little bit here, and we're going to bounce up into the sand flat, into some of this undulating sand, and we'll kind of show you what's going on here. And this is basically all I've been doing most of the day, is just, you know, a lot of times I'll do it with the trolling motor, but slide back a little ways, slide forward, just kind of look for what looks good, you know, and then position on it here. 12 feet right here. We kind of want to get up into some little bit skinnier stuff out of the current. And this could change daily, you know, how these fish position on a big area like this, all based on how much flow and what that water level is. Obviously, the more flow, they position a little bit more out of the current. The less flow, they try to get up in that lead edge of it a little bit more. And one thing I always do when I'm doing this to fish, keep the trolling motor down and go into the current. This is gonna let me position a lot better. So I'll kind of take maybe screenshots as we go here. Now, this right here, you could see all that darkness off the left side. That is super shallow. That's gonna be like no water up there, right? All right, so we're kind of starting to get into it here. And I'll both take a screenshot and show you guys. Oh, here's a great screenshot right here showing this exact thing. So here you could be able to see some of this, little bit of this up and down in the sand, plus a lot of these fish sitting off both sides of me in this area. And look at all those beautiful fish right there sitting up there on the sand. That's what we're looking for right there. Now, unlike fishing in a lake where you might just start seeing fish and hit spot lock, in a river you want to be upstream. So I'll just kind of kick the big motor off for a second. And what I want to do is, especially if they're not biting super good, which kind of seems like today's the case, I don't want to set up with those fish straight sideways of me. I want to keep them in that back, straight back or 45%, so I can swing a jig through there. So all I got to do is kind of putt forward a little bit more here, keep it in that straight line, and then pretty easy. You can both do a couple things here. You can click right on some of those fish on the graph, and it's going to tell you right up here how far away you are. Like right now I'm 47, 48 feet away. That's going to work for me right there. So I'm going to press spot lock button on the trolling motor, and now I know that those fish are about 48, 50 feet right back in here straight behind me, and I can fish them really effectively by either casting that jig at a 45, letting it swing, or casting it straight back and pulling it real slow back into the current. So there's one little thing you can do kind of on these spots to continuously be around fish and set your boat up effectively. Come on, fishes, I see you guys back there. A few keep slipping, sliding by the side of the boat. Is it time to drop the lives yet? See if we can shock one to the surface. On, baby. Right there. Slow and steady, my friends. I absolutely love pitching the shell. We're sitting at 8 right now. There's a little roll right here that comes up to about 4 or 5 is what it looks like. And those fish are just sitting kind of right on that backside, like plateau back in there. Slowly starting to go. It seems like probably it's mostly males coming up the river so far. But that's fine. They're decent fish for sure. And if they thump a jig, I mean, that's what we're after. That is all we are after. Beautiful little guys in the current, huh? Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. You couldn't resist a fat head and a gold show jig at all, could you? Look at that. That is what we're after right there. Spring river walleyes in the little boat. Love it, man. It's kind of just a weird... I was at home this weekend. I was like, where do I go? Number one, there's obviously not a lot of places to go to catch a walleye right now in a boat in the Midwest. So much of it is still ice covered or season closures. But I'm glad these fish are popping a little bit. A lot of times that first wave of fish that comes up the river is obviously a lot of these males, and then a lot of times it's followed by the females. And I'm sure with some warmer weather on the horizon and how high this river is, it's not going to be long and they're going to be up here. Lunchtime. Chicken Alfredo. On a cold day like this, it's going to hit. A little hot sauce. Oh, that is money. Should we quit playing fair? Drop the scopes. So as many of you guys watched the Mississippi River video, this last video we posted, this is a Bruce City tilt and stow extendable or telescopic pole here. It kind of runs on a pin system, so pretty simple to pop that pin, pop this pin, loosen up your one set screw here, which keeps this pole kind of locked in, and then you're gonna, pretty simple to lift it like that and drop her on down. And just like that, you can pop in this top pin here, like so, and then you're fishing. It's a pretty quick, simple little up and down. Now, right now, the way I got the transducer set up on here, I have one in what's called a landscape or perspective mode, which is right there. You can see there's a fish right there. And then I have one in forward mode right here. A lot of times these fish in the river will sit really tight to bottom. Wow. My camera looked a little out of, like it was tilted, which it might be, or it's the boat. I can't tell which it is here. I think it is slightly tilted. And dunk on the swim bait. Come on, baby. I went back to the first spot I started on, where I didn't catch any, but it looked like there was a lot of fish. There was like 7 boats there. So that's off the table. Flip you on in, buddy. We'll take it. We will take it. I think just based on what I'm seeing, I think they're just a little bit slow, man. I think there's just a lot. It probably seems like watching this, I'm just catching a pile of fish. And I can't complain about how it's going, but I think there's a way more here than what I'm even catching. Like, this could just be absolutely nuts if they actually did start biting real good, because the side image is just loaded. The difficult spot why I'm kind of sitting here is because, yes, there's a lot of fish here, but some of the other spots that I wanted to look, there's a bunch of boats at them, so I don't like filming around a bunch of other boats. It just gets kind of weird. Want to interrupt this video for your weekly Walleye Now update. On Walleye Now, just uploaded the video talking all about landscape and perspective mode, both on the Humminbird and on the Garmin. Whoa, where are they? There they are. It's an unbelievably powerful tool when you're fishing these rivers. It's a mode that doesn't get talked about nearly as much because it's not applicable to as many situations, but it's absolutely lethal in these river systems. So wanted to upload a video like that. It's a mode we've been fishing in for a while now, and I realized we hadn't really filmed anything for Walleye Now talking about it. So if you have forward facing and you've never flipped sideways on the river system, it's going to want to check that out. Also want to remind everybody that the big Walleye Now subscriber appreciation month starts April 15th, runs to May 15th. So jump on the app, become a premium member, and for our appreciation month, we're giving away a prize every single week as shown here. So want to thank you guys for being part of our awesome community. Hope you guys are getting a whole bunch out of Walleye Now. Now back to the fishing. On, baby. We are hooked up. We are hooked up. Definitely have been biting better as the day has gone on. Started out much slower, and that first spot I looked at, which I didn't catch any fish on, I'm sure it's the same thing. There's 8 boats sitting on it up there. But this little spot has no boats on it, and the fish are biting. As long as I kind of keep moving up and down and following them around a little bit. And it seems like, oh, it's a nice one right there. Swim bait, minnow doesn't seem to matter. This one's this one's on the swim bait. Absolute blast. Oh yeah, it's a little bit longer one, I'd say, right there. Come here, buddy. Look at him, dude. We'll put him right on the fish landing platform. Get on up here, buddy. Oh, dude, there's nothing like pitching plastics in the current in a lot of these spring rivers. I love it because it's just that classic doomp beauty of a spring day on the river, my friends. I don't know how you can be mad. I mean, we're catching them pretty dang good now. I wouldn't say it's 100% crazy on fire, but I don't know how you can be mad about this because we're clocking them. See you later, dude. Thanks for playing. Thanks for playing. There he goes. Back down. Fun. I've swapped colors a couple times on the plastics. I'm not a big time color guy, but it does seem like, I believe they call this color green perch has been my best. It's got like a little gold flake in there, a little bit of orange maybe, and just a good color. Anytime I'm fishing like this tea stained color water, golds, seems like you're dark, like off whites almost, or anything like a dark yellowy orange always plays too. Not a bad day, I would say, huh? We came, we saw, we conquered. That was kind of exactly what I wanted out of today. Wanted to go out, catch a bunch of fish on one of these river systems, doing some daytime jigging, just some classic, good old-fashioned early spring river jigging, and pretty damn good day. We're back at the campsite now. It's kind of nice, super quiet. There is nobody here, as it's still way too cold to be camping, but we're gonna cook a little dinner. So this whole truck camping thing, I've been wanting to do this for a couple of years now and just didn't. And I obviously spend a ton of time on the road, away from home. And if you asked me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I would have said, no way am I camping everywhere I went. Not that I thought it was an inconvenience, just that I thought it was too much to pile on top of everywhere else. And then as the years went on, I'm like, you know what, I think I would do some more camping. I'm like, I kind of enjoy doing this. And I kind of got talked into doing the whole truck camping setup. So over the course of the last couple months, kind of set this thing up here slowly but surely. But here's kind of the setup. We'll give you guys just a little walkthrough of my now home away from home here. Nice topper. I got like an ARE, they call it the MX series topper from buddies who have done this in the past. Getting the higher rise topper was key. Now you guys might be saying, Tom, you have a short bed. Yes, I do. Is it ideal? No, but it's just fine now after spending a bunch of nights on it. The bed is like 5 feet 8 inches long, and I am 5 feet 9 inches long. So I made the bed like 33 inches wide in here. Got a nice high quality Tempur-Pedic mattress in here. Got all my stuff for like basically cooking, cleaning, blah, 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 stored in this drawer here. So that's obviously pretty convenient. Cooler, water jug, buddy heater that I use in the morning. And kind of the only add-on which I really did was, which is super convenient, I wired in a lithium inverter and put it in this box right here to a giant lithium battery, which sits right under here. So I can get full power outlets, charging stuff, running laptops, running Starlink, everything like that. The high-rise topper is nice because basically I can sit straight up in bed. Not too excessively, but enough to be comfortable. And then over here, I have just a little fold-down table, which I actually made out of a TKI CNC rod holder, believe it or not. If it's good enough to use as a rod holder, it's good enough to make a table out of. And now it kind of folds out of the way. But I spend a lot of my time editing. So the fact that I got this, which can basically just fold down and screw back in like that, and I got a little table in which I can use in bed, is a big bonus so far in the few times I've slept in here. And I was actually kind of surprised last night how it was actually pretty warm. I mean, it got down to like 28 degrees last night, and I wasn't cold at all in there. Obviously, nice high quality sleeping bag. Didn't run the buddy heater all night except for when I woke up in the morning. So there's just a little rundown of the truck camping setup, which you guys will probably see a lot this summer while we're on the road. Question when you're truck camp is always, how do you cook? So I used to always bring a grill around with me, and that's too big and inefficient. You guys know how much I cook out of jet boils when I'm in my boat, my smaller one. Well, this one is one that I'm trying out now. This is a Jetboil 1.2, I believe, liter trail cook. It's kind of like the upsized version of essentially the one you guys see me using all the time. And the real moneymaker is this item right here. This is like it's meant for actually cooking stuff, not just like heating a little bit of coffee up or a little bit of stuff up in the boat, right? And this thing is super convenient. It's got, you flip it on, self-ignites, and you got this dial here that has 100 times more control than the other setups, and it kicks out a lot more gas. So we're gonna get a little dinner going here. I'm slowly working through about 40 pounds of venison brats from some deer we shot last year, and ever since I saw my first buddy that got a Jetboil maybe 4 years ago, I was like, that is the deal. Venison brats, asparagus, day of catching walleyes. How can you beat it? I appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Fun day on the river. We're gonna close it out here. Shortly, I'm gonna retreat to the back of the truck, get my edit on, and we're gonna drive to somewhere else and do it all again tomorrow. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you guys are, if you're not getting out there yet, if you're still somewhere where there's a ton of ice, stay strong. I'm with you. I'm here for you. Soon you'll be on open water. We can all get through this together. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.